Hey yo, what is up? What is an ELC even game without a map like Malinovka to show it off to you? Now immediately I'm bringing on the map where I want the team to aim their guns at, because when you're spawned on the south, you can expect the enemy team to try to take the center bush, and the way to do it is to try to spot them out as they get there and not to drive around, which I see a lot of people doing, is drive around in the open, get themselves spotted, get themselves killed. Instead, you can just break down this fence, get in the bush and spot out the enemy ELC even. This is a tier 10 game, and this is not an easy game for any ELC even, no matter how good you are, because you can get easily one-shotted by enemy tank destroyers like, you know, T-30 Yak Tigers and maybe E4s could easily kill you off. So trying to survive and trying to make full use of your camouflage is the most important thing. Now the ELC even is one of these funny tanks where, you know, no matter what light tank you are in, you want to contribute damage into the game, because if all your contribution is just spotting and camouflage and view range, it's not going to mean you are going to contribute a lot for your team. And that is because no matter what kind of light tank you are, there's only so much passive spotting that you can do. At some point or another, you need to contribute with your gun, and this is why playing the ELC even is very challenging, because you do want to get the early spotting, you do want to get a lot of passive spotting as much as possible, but at the same time you know that the game is not within your control, when especially if you are in a tier 10 matchup and your enemy team has a chieftain and your team does not have one. You need to be aggressive, even though you are, let's say you are an ELC even and there is no opportunity for you to pen anything, there is no opportunity for you to use your gun. You still need to find ways to push forward and make inroads towards the enemy. That is because if you don't do anything, you have very little influence in the game. Even in a tier 8 only matchup, in an ELC even, if you do not contribute enough, the game could pass you by very quickly. So one way or another, either you are aggressively spotting, aggressively making inroads, or you are contributing with your gun. If you do not do that, the game will slip by you very quickly. For instance, in this game, the enemy team has a chieftain. They've taken over the hill. Basically, they are going to win the game unless we can do a lot of damage, or I can manage to spot out the enemies and have my team do the damage for me and take out the enemies as quickly as possible, because this game is not going our way at all. Without me being aggressive and going forward, there is no chance my team can win this game, because we do not have the hill and we do not have a chieftain. It is very high likelihood that they would win this game. So I have to make an executive decision. I have to put myself out there, even though we did not kill off the enemy ELC even. The enemy ELC even is still alive, but they have basically no more HP. If he does manage to rush me out and catch me out in this position, I could easily finish him off. That is why I feel a little bit more confident going forward. Looks like they have an SHPTK that is spawned in the cap base and was AFK, so that worked to our advantage. Now we have a 2-tank lead and 5,000 hit points advantage. Initially we were 2 tanks down, and we were 2 tanks down largely because they have a chieftain and we don't, and we have managed to turn this around. Well, I must say I managed to turn this around because I decided to be you know, a little bit more aggressive. And the only reason I feel comfortable being a little bit more aggressive is because we managed to wither down the enemy ELC even down to a one shot. And right now the onus is on me, the pressure is on me to try to balance out that chieftain on the enemy team. And I can only do that because I have my teammates that are helping me out in the base, the TL7, the Scorpion, the Conway, the CS, the Burrasque, the Progetto 66. They are sniping out what I am spotting. So that is the only thing working for me now. I could have tried to shoot at this ELC even on the enemy team and finish him off, but he is 400 plus meters away. I have slow shell velocity. I think my shell velocity is like 760. It's something like just a little bit quicker than artillery. My APCR, of course, is a slightly better shell velocity, which I am doing. I am shooting full gold in my ELC even. That's because this tank has pretty poor penetration, 175 penetration on standard AP shells. But with APCR shells, you know, I have 215 penetration and 950 shell velocity, which is a little bit better. But because this tank has very, you know, low penetration for standard penetration, I prefer to run a full APCR shells with 215 penetration, higher shell velocity. My chances for fighting against tier 9, tier 10 tanks. And this tank has a pretty poor gun. 0.36 dispersion is like a Soviet tier 8 heavy tank dispersion. So the gun is not really good. The only thing that is extremely good on this tank is the camouflage, stationary camo or moving camo. The stock camo on this tank is 22% without anything. Now if you're running food, you're running BIA, you're running camouflage skills, if you have, like me, the exhaust thing, and I'm running purple vents as well, I have over 55% of camouflage value, which means I am basically driving invisible, almost invisible. You know, when I get spotted, I can be spotted for maybe 3 seconds, 4 seconds, and then I disappear again. I literally disappear in front of your eyes. That is how good my camouflage is. It is a maxed out camo. I have camouflage skills on my crew. I have BIA skills. I have the commander's, you know, training bonus for my crew. So I have basically maxed out my camouflage skills on this tank. Plus I'm running purple vents and I'm running that exhaust at equipment 2.0, which gives me even more camo. And that is how I overcome this situation where we were almost most certain to lose. We do not have a chieftain on our team. And when you don't have, if you know anything about tier 10 games, when you don't have a chieftain in your team and the enemy has a chieftain in your team, your chances of winning reduce you know, by another 20%. You know, you have even less chances of winning because you don't have a chieftain. But you can balance it out if your team knows exactly what to do. For example, my team did not try to take out the A0, the windmill. They did not try to go up the hill, which is good job for them because they did not have any tank that could take the hill to challenge the chieftain. There is no way you're going to fight a chieftain at the windmill because they have hull down superiority, they have the armor, they have the gun performance. It is almost impossible for you to win out that A0. But because they did not take the windmill or go up the A0 line, the onus was on me to advance the objectives down on the south side. That means trying to take full vision on the middle of the map, trying to push forward by the river, by the lake or the river, trying to get the vision advantage for my team and push forward our objectives, which we managed to successfully do. Being on the south spawn is a slight disadvantage. If you're on the north spawn, you had a little bit more advantage. I outplayed that ELC. Even he did go to the right position, but because I did not drive around like a monkey out in the open to try and spot him out, I did not take any damage for him, and he lost almost all his HP. If you're considering an ELC even, consider this as a very good camo view range tank that you can win for your team. I did almost 5,000 spotting damage, only did 415 damage for myself. Remember, this is a tier 10 game, very difficult for me to try and contest the damage pool, but over 5,000 spotting damage. The enemy ELC even only managed to spot 60 damage for himself. I've got 5.3k spotting damage for myself, and I did a real big favor for my team. So hope you enjoyed this tank, and if you're considering to get that ELC even, really steep learning curve but very rewarding tank. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.